What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. We got a special Shrine Bowl edition here as we're going to kind of watch along with the Shrine Bowl, keep up with what's going on there in Dallas Cowboys Stadium, obviously AT&T Stadium, I should say, down there at the Star. Tim, how you doing tonight, bub?
You ready to go?
There you go.
Ready to go, man. Let's go.
Well, let's roll with it, man. We got a bunch of people following in here. So Turtle's in the house. We got Boz in the house. We got Mr. Larry Cano. Hello, Larry. How you doing, bub? We got Drew D. We got the whole gang in here, man. Bunch of people following in. Appreciate y'all making us part of your evening here. Fred McFarley in the house. We got Daryl. Everybody. Mountain Man.
United Bates. What up?
Even A-Fam's in here, man. You know.
Oh, really? Our resident Chiefs fan is here?
The resident Chiefs, man. That's some fighting words right there, Tim. My goodness. So obviously we're getting ready to get kicked off here for the Shrine Bowl. We had a couple things that popped up on Twitter. You got the guys walking out of the tunnel earlier tonight. Obviously that stadium's absolutely huge. Looking around the crowd, looks like a pretty small crowd, which that's pretty typical here. They were showing some of the players too, Tim, that have played in these all-star games here at the end of the season. One of them showed Josh Allen kind of morphing into the NFL version of Josh Allen from the All-Star game. I'm not sure if it was actually the East-West Shrine game or if it was the Senior Bowl, but they've been running ads for both, obviously. So it's going to be cool, man. This is interesting. Our first time ever doing a live watch party while we're keeping up with the Shrine Bowl. It's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, AT&T Stadium, it's easy to, have a small crowd.
Exactly.
They could have a few thousand in there and it still looks pretty empty. I mean, that's a huge, huge facility down there. I'm glad we opened it up the right way by winning the Super Bowl there, by the way. That was awesome.
A little christening, right? Just
a little christening, and we've owned Dallas ever since, and I love it. But no, this is awesome. And, usually these type of games, right, you're not expecting 50, 60,000 people. This is more for the players and the scouts and the diehard fans, right, to get a look at some of this talent.
Definitely. And here you got Andy Borregales. Obviously, the Packers met with him, kicker. Got a nasty little calf tat right there. Jacob would be proud of that, right? As he was warming up earlier tonight before the game, kicking some field goals. So he seems like
no big deal, just kicking 59 yarders, no problem. Wow.
Exactly. So obviously, there's nobody in the top 100 that's listed as a kicker here. I want to say was he the top kicker or was it Fitzgerald? Wasn't there a guy named Fitzgerald, Tim? Am I thinking right?
I don't know. I have not looked at kicker at all. I'm waiting for the McManus re-signing.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we don't have to talk kicker again. Yeah, Andy, actually it's Andres Borregales out of Miami who you're seeing kicking here. He is currently the 100th prospect, okay? And he peaked at 96, and the next kicker isn't until 365 according to the consensus big board. So this is obviously the top kicker in the draft as it sits right now. Greg S says Fitz is in the Senior Bowl. Appreciate that. And yeah, Fitz is sitting at 365. So Andy Borregales has got a chance to make a name for himself tonight, man. It sounds silly, but you show that you can hit these kicks in an NFL stadium in an all-star game. Obviously, it's going to be better than just sitting at home and avoiding this and hoping somebody drafts you. So
yeah, and he's got to be the real deal, right? You said 100th overall. I mean, he's literally cracked the top 100 as a kicker. That's worth taking a look at for sure. And I'm sure, in the game tonight, they're not going to shy away from long field goal opportunities,
Yeah, definitely. Here you got a video. We'll crank it up real quick. This was tweeted out by the East-West Shrine Bowl Twitter account at Shrine Bowl. We'll give them a follow. Jordan Williams from Georgia Tech taking the field earlier.
Hey, when a gladiator steps to arena, he don't get to choose the opponent. Get to it.
Look at that place. It's amazing stadium, man. Look, you can say what you want about Jerry Jones, but he done a hell of a job putting that together down there, man. I like that he kept the hole in the roof too to kind of honor the old Dallas Cowboys stadium, obviously. So, I don't know. I think it's.
I was going to say, I thought that they did a really good job of that, kind of staying true to the old Texas Stadium days, and it still has that vibe, right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt about it. We got Emilio joining us now as the opening kickoff. Pretty good return there by number 10. Who is it? Wester. So that was LaJonte Wester with a good return. There is a flag on the play, though. You guys let us know in the chat. And if you, Tim and Emilio, if y'all would help me mark the chat, if there's any prospects you guys want to see that's maybe playing tonight, we'll give you a full breakdown according to our board, the consensus big board, all that stuff. So, yeah, and as Greg Rice said, no blitzing by the DBs. That stinks. I think they're forcing them to play a too high man look, too, if I understood correctly.
Yep.
So they're obviously going to try to have it as controlled as possible. And you can look at that one of two ways. You can say, oh, man, they're really limited in the play calls. Therefore, you're not going to be showcasing everything you can do. But it also isolates what players can do as well, right?
Right. You're making your DBs play coverage, which is what you want to look at in your DBs, right?
Definitely. Emilio, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good, man. Just got finished up late. I'm excited for it. I was listening to the PFF pod, them talking about it, and just everybody's getting after it. And I was listening to the GM Shuffle. Mike's not on there anymore, but the new guy was I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but he was talking. He's just like, there is a lot there, but you're looking to just see if they're an NFL talent. Like, do they have the skills? You does he have the arm strength, that sort of thing, and then you can kind of work with it from there. But awesome to just see that all that work comes together. And even he was saying, you're out there, you're scouting the last week of the NFL season, then you're going right to the next. The scouting department's so huge. I mean, look at the teams that are doing well. They've drafted, developed. You can't always go out and buy them. This is a big spot for it.
Yeah, and it looks like Taj Brooks got to start at running back there for the West team out of Texas Tech, had a nice little 5-yard gain. And then just now they completed a pass to Jalen Conyers, his Texas Tech teammate. He's 355th overall. Taj Brooks is 191 overall there. And it looks like the quarterback, I'm trying to see who's playing quarterback. It looks like Minnesota probably. So it's probably Max Brosmer who is starting for the West team here, as he just completed a pass to Shepard. Let's see who Shepard is, where he's at on the board here. He is Will Shepard out of Colorado, 246 on our board.
403 on our board. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool seeing the environment down there, man. It's awesome,
Absolutely.
I think they did it up right for sure. As you've seen the guys taking the field just a second ago, just trying to scroll through to see if we missed anything. Everybody coming out of the tunnel, obviously. But, yeah, Will Shepard, nice catch there, man, for sure. All right, here we go. We got a 1st and 10 play for the West team. And drop back out of the shotgun, a little toss play to the right. I think that's still a Texas Tech back, is it not, Emilio, or they rotate him out? Trying to see who that was. Of course, the camera's just going to zoom in on people's faces and not really show us what we need to see.
Zoom in on people blocking.
Yeah, nice play there by a Kentucky guy. I think that was a linebacker, right? Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, Dumas Johnson with the tackle there.
Is that your boy, Tim?
Which one?
Walker. I'm sorry.
Which one?
I'm sorry. It was a stack backer.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
He said which one?
I got a few, man. Got a few
in the hopper here. Again, we'll keep an eye on the chat, and go ahead and highlight those chats too, guys. If you got one that you want to hit on, just go ahead and throw it up on the screen and read it. We'll hit it as we go here. Let's see. I'm trying to get to the consensus big board that I wanted to highlight. If I can find it.
Sorry, Coach Lynn in the chat. Higgins was killing it today in the Senior Bowl practice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Here's the guy.
Shout out
to man.
I was pulling up some of those speeds too today, and one that stood out to me, Jack Kaiser, was the 2nd fastest linebacker at the Senior Bowl at 20 miles an hour. That really caught my attention. I was like, holy cow. So they've got them GPSed up, obviously. So
Emilio's car bed don't even go 20 miles an hour.
No, it really doesn't.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. On Saturday, I'm really excited. 2:30 Eastern time. Make sure you get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's see. Will Shepard is a big receiver. J. Cole says, do we have a height and weight on him? Let me pull up a PFF board here as well, so I can have it to reference. Let's see. Will Shepard, wide receiver, right? Let's see where he's at. On the PFF board, Will Shepard is currently sitting. Where are you, sir? You must be way down there. As it looks like the West team had to punt here. Will Shepard, where are you? Here we go. 6'3", 205. My gosh. One of those guys that's regressed according to PFF, but obviously out there trying to make a name for himself. Where did you say we have Will Shepard, Emilio? Was it in the 400s? What'd you say?
Yeah. Yep. 403.
Yeah, PFF really drug him down on our board. So obviously he's got a chance to try to create a little buzz around himself here. As it's 0-0 between East and West. 11-12 left in the first quarter as the East team takes the field. It looks like we got a Maryland Terp playing quarterback here. So, or do we not here?
No,
Cam?
NDSU, right?
Buffalo. What? Who is this?
I thought that was the NDSU quarterback.
I don't have him on the East West Shrine roster here. That's interesting.
They could have been a late addition. You know how my boy Glover was that late addition.
Yeah, I could see that. See that. Mike Witt with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says everyone is talking about cornerback, but I think edge is just as big of a need. Also, receiver might be a need with Watson missing most of next year. Yeah, if Watson was healthy going into the offseason, I'd feel a lot different about it, but we're on board with you there, man. Tim's shaking his head. Yep. Obviously, Jaden Higgins is his dude. If we were to look at our big board real quick, let me throw it up here and give you guys an idea of how the wide receivers stack up on our big board. You guys can see this okay, right?
Yep. Thanks for the super chat too, Mike. That's awesome. Because we were talking about this offline today, Clay, right? About the edge group. And, like if we go after edge and free agency, maybe we don't get aggressive in the draft, or maybe we get aggressive in the draft with edge if we don't go to that position group in free agency. But corner is definitely a need, but edge is just as important. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, completely agree. So when it comes to wide receiver, let's take a quick gander here. Our top wide receiver on our board is Tetero McMillan. All right, that's wide receiver out of Arizona. Our next receiver comes in at the 23 spot, and that's Luther Burden, the third wide receiver out of Missouri. Then right behind him, just 0.3 of a point difference, right, is Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's in the 24 spot. So we got 3 players in the top 25 there that are playing wide receiver. Then you got Trey Harris at 30. So what we've got is basically 4 players with first-round grades on them is essentially what we got, right? Yeah. You scroll on down, the next one is obviously Jaden Higgins, and that's Tim's boy there. So that's kind of how our top of the draft looks for our wide receivers.
That's his boy. We're going to keep talking about him because it's going to keep popping up. Noah Williams there with a nice breakup on that fade route. Got his head around, got a hand in it. So I like to see that. Like you said, we're going to see a lot of man, but it's perfect to see what they can kind of do up on that one-on-one situation.
Yeah, both the DBs and the receivers, right? It's awesome to get a good look at that.
Again, Mike, thank you for the super chat, bud. Appreciate you. Aaron Rodgers, our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Appreciate you. He said, so I've mocked both Walter Nolan, Ole Miss, and Baron Sorrell out of Texas. And today on X, there is video of them wrecking house next to each other. Love it, love it. Where do we have Sorrell at? Let me look at that real quick. Let's see if we can find him on the board here. Should be fairly easy to locate this gentleman. RYN.
328 I had him at, Clay.
Man, we got him low, don't we? 328. Yeah. Now keep in mind,
doesn't even have him on the radar.
Yeah, we got the consensus big board, and then we got the 24 PFF grade is all we've got.
Right,
PFF big board doesn't have a grade on him, like you said, Tim. He's nowhere on the big board. So we'll try to compile some more information on him for sure. That's an interesting prospect. Obviously, edge out of Texas, big time program there. And then of course Walter Nolan. He goes without saying. You guys know. That's my boy there. I'm really, really excited about Walter Nolan to see what he does at the NFL level. Just if you want to find Walter Nolan on the big board, you just scroll all the way to the top. So you got to do, right? He's sitting in the 16th spot. He's actually deadlock tied with Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Both of them with a 22.7 grade. The low number wins on our board, by the way. So Walter Nolan sitting there at 16. Man, I would be really, really excited if we were somehow able to get Walter Nolan in this draft this year.
That would be unreal. Because, then, we're just going to keep feeding the center of the offense and defense, and I think that's what we just need to keep doing.
Yep.
Definitely. Again, Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Go ahead, Tim. What you got, man?
No, I was just going to say it's not about who wins this game, right? It's about evaluation and getting a good look at this talent, right?
Right. Coach Lynn in the chat said this board is looking clean. I appreciate it, Coach. This is the most in-depth it's ever been, and we are not even – we've got we're probably going to do bonuses for Senior Bowl as well and East-West Shrine Bowl. We're going to go through and look at some of the top scouting minds and who they thought won and lost in those events, and we're going to add a bonus to them. We still got the 33rd team element to add in when they're finished. We got Daniel Jeremiah. He's going to act kind of as our lead scout, if you will. We're going to have Greg Cosell implement some.
We're going to have to start hiding more columns because it's going to just be a mess. I've already hidden 10 or 15 probably. It's just going to be a jumbled numbers mess.
what it'll probably end up being is we'll end up getting like the 23-24 grade, right? We'll probably hide the PFF big board and leave the consensus big board up, since we'll have the grades right there to kind of rely on. But we'll make sure it all is calculated into the formula for sure. So, but yeah, again, Emilio been a lifesaver here, and I love that Tim is kind of just hanging out on the outside doing his own little scouting reports, throwing his list together, cross-checking us, saying, "Hey, no, that seems wrong." So, I
absolutely love it. Because I honestly haven't even had time to really watch film on anybody or dig in deep, and I'm literally just typing, inputting data, and it's come together nicely. It's
Hey, we're all team players, right? We all got a role, right? I love it.
Some say, Tim, it could be walking.
Some would say that we're team players. I would be that someone.
Tim, you know there's a Tim Smith in the draft?
Oh, really?
He is our boy. Hold on here.
Where is he on the board?
He went to Alabama, okay. D lineman, all right.
Okay. Is he a
318 on our board. I think we may need to take a little deep dive on him at some point.
Okay. Well, let's have
he doesn't have a PFF big board, but he does a consensus. He was 341, but his last year in PFF he was 169. So
what's his name? You said Tim Smith.
Tim Smith, but I heard in the PFF pod that he had an absolute. He just I guess they called his name to bring him up to the front, and he didn't even have. He strapped his helmet on, ran out there, and just goes, "Yeah, I'm a bull rush the dude," and just absolutely just ran the dude over. So I figured that'd be right up our alley.
I love it.
I was hoping we would have a box score to kind of piggyback off of here. I don't see I don't see a box score anywhere on the interwebs at the moment. So 2-0 for this says, what's the difference between the Shrine and the Senior Bowls? I think it's exactly what it sounds like. For the most part, the Senior Bowls are seniors, right? Now, I think in the past, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say in the past they've gotten some special invites for underclassmen. Or when I say underclassmen, I mean anyone who wasn't a senior. So these guys that are coming out in the draft early typically would go to the East-West Shrine Bowl if they're not a part of the Senior Bowl. So really the best way to say it too over this is the Senior Bowl is like the top talent in the draft, really. And then you've got kind of the next tier of talent. And we broke it down the other day. There's only a handful of players in the top 100 that's going to be competing here in the East-West Shrine Bowl tonight. Matter of fact, I've got the list right here. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Shedeur Sanders is one of those 6 that's not even playing. So you've got 5 players, if that, in the top 100, as opposed to the Senior Bowl. Let me pull that up real quick on the side. The Senior Bowl has a lot more players in the top 100. Matter of fact, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, probably at least 50. Probably 60 players that are going to be performing in the Senior Bowl. Go ahead, Emilio.
I was just saying that they one of the pods, I think it was GM Shuffle, he was saying that you're not allowed to go to the Senior Bowl and not play. I think you have if you're going to do the interviews and stuff, you're committed to playing. But at the Shrine game, you can just interview and not participate.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So
that
that's probably
Shedeur Sanders, right?
Exactly.
Right, yeah, because you can do the interview process there and not have to play at the Shrine, but you do have to at Senior Bowl.
Yeah, and listen, I would rather see the players play, but I understand if they don't too. If you're somebody like Shedeur, you're going to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks taken. You go out there and you tear an ACL, you cost yourself millions on millions of dollars. So I get it. I really do.
Even if it's not a full serious injury, even if you just tweak something or set yourself back, I mean, it's not worth it, right? If you're in that top tier, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Completely agree. Yeah, here we go. Greg Rice, Shriners Party like it's 1999. There you go. Tim said, yeah. All right, Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. He says, I hate that Watson got hurt, but I think Reed could be our version of St. Brown from the Lions. Also, keep an eye on wide receiver Besh from TCU. Could be this draft's Puka Nakua. Man, that's a strong guy. I love it, too. So let's go look. Let's see where our boy Besh is on ours. Obviously, he wasn't in the top 4 anyway. Let's see if we can find him real quick. Besh is sitting in the 82 spot for us. currently, and we still got to compile some information there. I went through earlier and tried to find. I made sure that we had the PFF big board, the consensus big board, and the 24 grade. And right now he's sitting in the 82 spot. Now that may be much different than other boards. Matter of fact, let me check, because I think he's going to be at the Senior Bowl, right? I think he is at the Senior Bowl. Is he not? Yeah, Besh. Actually, we've got him higher than the consensus big board. They have Besh at 128 currently. So it looked like we got us a sack here, boys. Who was that? Who was that? Who was that man right there? I hate that I can't see the names. It's driving me.
Hemingway?
Yeah, Hemingway. Is that what it was? See where he's at. Is he the 3 tech right there? I think he is. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Tonka Hemingway.
God, what a name! You
Oh,
kidding
man,
me?
I just lost my stream. I just lost my stream. I can't see anything.
Oh no.
Hang on a minute.
What are you doing over there?
This guy over here.
You like a D lineman that doesn't need gloves, just bare hands, just I'm getting down.
You mean like
there.
Reggie White? Give him a single bar face mask,
There you
no
go.
gloves. Let's go.
Love the comp. Yeah, Jack Bash here. I apologize, it wasn't on the screen. Saying go 82nd on our big board out of TCU. So he's in the top 100, well within the top 100. We've got him higher than most. Consensus big board had him at 136 when we put the info in the system. PFF big board had him at 56. So we have him lower than PFF's big board, but higher than the consensus big board. So Besh, one of those dudes. Isn't he a bigger body receiver to him? I thinking right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what we got on
He
Besh.
goes, yeah. I know that. Yeah,
Both of them dudes from TCU. Savion Williams is another big body receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of the big body receivers in this draft.
Tim got them all charted. I promise you that. I was trying to find them here on get all the measurables. Yeah, well, actually,
You want to stump me? Ask me about a receiver that's not 6 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. 6'2", 215 pounds, 22 years old too. PFF 65, then dropped to 62, only 181 snaps, and then jumped all the way to an 83 his final year in college. He was the 33rd highest graded receiver here, according to this on their big board. So, yeah, Besh is definitely a name to keep an eye on for sure. And again, thank you for the super chat there, Mike. Appreciate you, man. Puka Nacua was a fun one. I remember that draft. That was the first year that I did draft coverage for the pod, and he was the dude that stood out to me big time. And I'm going, why is no one talking about this guy? Went and watched the tape, and like, man, he can run routes. Why is he not getting any love? Then obviously the Rams take a flyer on him there, and he turns into an absolute superstar. Listen, it's not that I got an eye for talent. His PFF grades were off the chart. And anytime people like to just dog the PFF grades as if they don't matter, you can go back and find players like that where they just really popped. So yeah, Puka Nacua, man. If Jack Besh does comp to him, well, that's a hell of a comp to have, no doubt about it. All right, let's see what else we got here. East West Shrine. I'm trying to comb through Twitter real quick. Matter of fact, I got a video I want to share with you guys. Y'all good with that?
Please do.
This isn't from the Shrine Bowl, but I'm just going to pop it up here so we can hit it real quick. This is from Coach Haddad. He always posts the best stuff, man. If you guys like talking about football, it's just a minute 28 long. And Coach Chris Haddad said, game planning checklist with Jaquez Green, all right? And he talks about how they game plan when it comes to calling their defense and setting their game plan up during the week for defense. I thought it's kind of cool to go behind the scenes and see how coaches think. Just about a minute 28 long. Let's check it out real quick.
Let's talk about putting together the game plan first. I guess kind of just take me through the whole process for you.
The first thing I do is what we're good at, what we've been good at, even just the previous game. What did we do well? So that's the first thing. How do they line up? Where do they line up at? When we line up in certain formations, how they gonna line up? That shows me that the identity of the defense. Or they're over front defense, or they're a 3-4, but they really shade to over front defense. And at the same time, while I'm seeing how they line up, I'm checking numbers and seeing who playing where. Is he a really D end, or is he really a outside linebacker here? So I try to get the identity of the defense. What coverage are they playing? Are they a 1 high defense, or they a 2 high defense? Next, you get the 3-by-1 check. What are they doing the 3-by-1? What are they doing to bunch? What are they doing to empty? Because most high school teams don't have 1 check. They either gonna have some type of zone and some type of all-out blitz and empty. That gonna be it. And so you try to get an idea of what they do. Once I know where they're at and what they're doing, now it gets into, who can we attack on those certain plays? It may be a cornerback that we need to go at all game long. It may be a linebacker who can't play well in space. Try to get him out of space. So it may be a defensive tackle that we think our guard can dominate in the run game. So, after I figure out where they play at and what we want to do, then it comes into like which guys want to attack on their defense.
All right, so there you go. Obviously talking about exploiting the weak spots in a defense, right?
Yep.
And I love what he's talking about with the 3x1, the bunch, all that stuff. Man, bunch is one of those that I'm not gonna lie. When the Packers are on defense and the team lines up in a bunch, whether it's a tray or a trip set, I'm like, oh crap. It's so hard to defend. It really is.
I mean, you got the switch release, different levels. You can only press one if you want, and then you have all your levels you got to worry about on the defensive side. That's a pain. But I do love how there's so much that you can break down. We're just talking a couple of offensive formations. We're just looking at a couple of guys on defense. I mean, you got to do that within a 5-day period. Get ready for the next game. Honestly, like a 2-day period, get the thing ready to go. Tell your players what the plan is, and then you're off. So. You really do have to give props to the coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, and everyone else.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So, again, just kind of a little insight there into how coaches see game planning for teams coming up. Mike Witt with the Super Chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, I know we struggled this year, but any of my Wisconsin Badgers on your big boards? Hunter Waller, for example, is going to be a 10-year pro, in my opinion. Man, all right, let's go. Emilio, how easy will it be?
I've got 3 Wisconsin's players, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, is Jack Nelson one of them?
Tim, you're in my mind tonight, man. Jack Nelson, top of the board here at 137.
Let's go,
Wisconsin. He is at the Senior Bowl, or at least we have him on the Senior Bowl ticker here. PFF 22 was a 90, beautiful. 23, 124, 24, 35. The only thing bringing him down is the big board. I mean, this dude's. Here's your guy, Mike. If you want a guy from Wisconsin to play here, that's your man.
Here's a guy.
All right, so Jack Nelson is the highest Wisconsin Badger on our board at 137, like Emilio said, with a score of 111.0.
We just got to get his size. What's his size and measurables? And have they brought him inside? Figure out what color team he's on. We got to figure it out so we can take a little deep dive for him.
6'7", 316. Holy cow. That's a unit right there.
Yeah, that is a unit. So they must have him listed at tackle, huh? Let's see here.
He's listed as a tackle on.
Probably not one we're going to be able to sneak inside.
All right. God, he's a hoss, man. Yeah, pass block grade of 82.2, run block grade of 75.2, zone grade 86.4. We love our zone, whether it's split flow or just straight zone with a little duo mixed in. True pass set, pass block grade 75.7. That's, for a dude a little bit later in the draft, obviously he's not like in the top 100, but yeah, Jack Nelson looking like a pretty solid prospect there. Man.
Yep. Okay, and I'm sorry, that was Senior Bowl, so get ready for the Senior Bowl. This guy right here, our second guy on the list, Joe Huber, guard out of Wisconsin, East-West Shrine game, and the Packers have met with him. So he is at 231 on our board.
Yeah. Notice the cheese logo, guys. When we're showing the board, if you see the cheese logo, that means the Packers have met with them, okay? So, yeah.
That one, he'll be on tonight. We can watch him tonight.
Got to look for the cheese, man. Got to look for the cheese.
Yep. Let's look for the W there. And then for our last guy, Hunter Waller, I know you were asking about him. He's got a card in Ultimate Team College Football. He's decent. He's decent. But on our board, we have him at 264. He is going to be playing in the Senior Bowl, looks like. PFF 23. Dude, crushed it.
10th highest graded safety.
Absolutely.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah.
This year, not so much. That looks like a Goody kind of guy.
Yeah. And just to kind of compare and contrast, we've got him in the 264 spot because since his big board has him right there at 265, but the PFF big board has him at 185.
Right.
So there's a decent chance he might go a little earlier than where we've got him there. Who knows? Maybe somebody will sneak up and grab him. So is that all 3 of the Wisconsin Badgers? Is that right, Emilio?
That's all I had. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
Unless I spelled Wisconsin wrong on another one, but I think it's it.
Hey, it's all right, man. You kidding me? You think I'm going to judge on spelling and pronunciation? This accent ain't going to happen. Mike, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Listen, Wisconsin, man, you got 3 draft picks, that 3 guys that are pretty much got a real good shot of getting drafted. Not a bad year, right? Obviously, you guys had a down year, but I don't know, man. I kind of wish Wisconsin would go all in and just go get a stud of a coach. You know what I mean? Like maybe you guys it's Luke Fickell that's there, right? Now, obviously, they took a step back this year, not making a bowl game, but could you imagine what Wisconsin would be like if they had hired Bill Belichick? Oh my God, man!
Yeah,
people would have lost their mind. Now the problem is Bill Belichick wants to stay on that East Coast, right? He wants to be where he can hop on a boat somewhere close to the North Carolina coast, and then be able to head up to his Nantucket compound he's got up there. I promise you that. But just somebody like that, I don't understand why they wouldn't be a little more aggressive in getting a coach. But I don't know. Maybe you guys are excited about Luke Fickell, and I don't even know how many years he's been there. Kind of speaking out of pocket here. Let's see when Luke Fickell was hired. I'm sure the chat could help us, but let's see here.
It's only been a handful of years, right? Two or 3 years.
I want to say, I don't know, man. I don't keep up with Wisconsin that much, other than all my friends here in Wisconsin that absolutely love them. Let's see, Wisconsin hire. Looks like that was in 2022. Yeah, so Tim, I think you're right, man. November 27, 2022. He was named the head coach, so he's been there. This will be going on his 3rd year, right? Yep. Yeah, his 3rd full year. So we'll see what he does, man.
Another guy to keep an eye on right there on the board, Clay. East West Shrine met with the Packers, got the cheese emblem. Cam Horsley out of Boston College, D lineman. We've met with a couple of them. I think that's going to be another one. Look for that helmet here on the game tonight. Nice,
got it. Out of BC, and we know defensive lineman out of BC, probably Hafley going to have his eyes on him, right?
Hafley probably knew him well.
50th overall according to PFF as far as D lineman.
Nice. Aaron Rodgers in the chat says, I don't know how scouts do this. You fall in love with a lot of prospects, but you can't get them all. Yeah, it's true. That's where you got to it's checks and balances, right? And I love hearing Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah talk about what they used to do, the Red Star. Do you remember hearing them talk about that, Emilio, the Red Star? Where
yes.
They basically, after the process was pretty much finished, everybody who had a scouting report, they were put in a room and they go, okay, you can only pick one player in this draft, just one, right? And you go put a red star next to his name and give us your pitch on him. And he said it doesn't mean they're the best prospect in the draft. It's just a dude that you like the most, that you feel like, hey, this is a guy that I think can play at the NFL level. And they would go up there and present their red star. Like, I thought that was a really cool story, kind of behind the scenes. And what you get to do is run all that through a filter, right? You get to, okay, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. He really likes that player. You got these scouts from all different regions around the country. Like Goody, for instance, used to be a scout, and Goody worked the Southeast, right? He talks about that all the time. So he always worked the SEC. Now, it was my understanding the reason he got the job for general manager, one of the qualifiers, and that's why I love Mark Murphy, that Mark Murphy put out there, was he looked at all – he said, everybody bring me your scouting reports in our scouting department. And Goody, hands down, had the most accurate scouting report, right? And it sounded like he had a lot to do with the Aaron Rodgers pick too, even though he was a very young scout at the time, if I understood correctly. He was one of those dudes that kind of seen that one coming. So that's how
like the best GMs in the league, man, have a scouting background, it seems like, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to build through the draft. You can't just go out and try to sign free agents. It just doesn't work like that, right? And the way that these contracts are structured now with the rookie pay scale, when you draft a player, you've got them locked up for basically at least 2 years, most likely 3 to 4 years, where you're getting them on that rookie contract. You hit on a handful of prospects, you're going to be competing because you got all that cap space. And now guess what? Now you can be aggressive. Think the Packers. Last year you made the playoffs with the youngest team in the league, and you did it predominantly with all these players that you drafted. And then this year, because of all those rookie contracts, you got some money to spend. You go out, you get Xavier McKinney, you get Josh Jacobs, you put a couple more pieces in place. You end up winning 2 more games this year, albeit you still get beat out in the wild card round, but you've seen that team, I think, improve. Some people think they regress. I think they improved both on offense and defense, me personally. There were times that there were some ugly spots, but yeah. Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Ugh. The Eagles and the Chiefs again. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip the Toilet Bowl this year. Shame on the other 30 teams. Rather go ice fishing. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to BS you. I don't know if I'm going to watch Super Bowl this year. Listen, and it's not it's partly because of all of the just favorite calls that these two teams got all year long. But the other part is I'm just not that interested in the Super Bowl, man. I would rather watch this stuff. I'd rather watch tape on college players. I'd rather watch tape on players that are going into free agency than watch a Super Bowl where you're going to have two teams that, the fan, every fan other than, basically 30 fan bases hate these teams with a passion.
Yep.
You heard us, and we did a poll question. It was like 80-20. It was just like, hey man, let's make it the Bills and the Commanders. Let's get those two teams in there. People don't want to watch Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs win another one and do it in a way where a defender's not even allowed to touch him and he's flopping. I'm telling you, that flopping stuff, man. That and I'm almost glad he did it in this last game because there was still people on the fence like, I don't think he flops. When you seen him do that on the sideline, and then you had announcers call it out like, yeah, that's just ridiculous. Like, there's no place for that in the NFL. There isn't. I'm glad
there's Chiefs fans that hate this too. I mean, I don't know. Did you see the girl who went viral on TikTok or whatever? Basically being done. She's been a Chiefs fan since the Alex Smith days, as she said, and she's sick of seeing them getting bailed out play after play after play. It's not fun. It's bad for the game, man.
Exactly.
I mean, that's coming from a Chiefs fan, so you can imagine how the rest of us feel.
Exactly. Godsmack, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We're right there with you, man. I'll probably end up watching it, but it's definitely not, hey, what are we doing for the Super Bowl? It's just not there for me this year.
We're watching Kendrick Lamar at halftime, man. That's it. That's all.
God have mercy. I need this. That's where I need the Snoop drop, Tim. I got to have that in my life on that moment right there. Matter of fact, I'll hit it.
Who?
I'm sure he's a well-known artist that this dumb redneck. I mean, listen, I don't listen.
Put it this way: he's rooting for the West tonight. We'll just put it that way.
Greg Rice says, if you don't hit like, you are an A fan. Boy, don't be an A fan, all right? Of all things, you're not an A fan.
Please don't be an A fan.
If you guys would hit that like button for us, we just cracked 100 viewers. When you hit like, it's amazing how the numbers just skyrocket. And we really, really appreciate you taking a second to do it. We hate to ask, but we didn't ask. Greg did. So thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Chuck Jaggers in the house says, at my little man's gymnastics, but I got to push that like button here to be in here for just a second. Hey, man, appreciate it, Chuck. Tell little man to go out there and crush it tonight. Appreciate you swinging.
Chuck's doing it, man. He's glancing off at the phone on the side, He's double duty. I love it.
Definitely. Drew D in the chat says, guys standing out to meet. You know what? Let's hold on to that. Let's hit this super chat. I'm going to come back to Drew so we can comb through the board here, okay? Mike Witt with the super chat. Waller reminds me of Jim Leonard as a player. Never going to be a superstar, but he'll be a solid 10-year pro like Leonard. And you know what, man? There's nothing wrong with that. You get 10 years in the league, you were a damn good football player. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can't play at an average level and last 10 years in the league. You got to be, kind of above average to good, maybe even very good player to last that long in the league. So that's a pretty cool comp there. That you got these players too. I love the fact, Tim, Emilio not so much, but me and Tim, we've gotten so old now that Emilio's still a pup, but we've gotten so old that these players that we've seen play, right, are now becoming coaches. I just think it's really cool, man.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the cycle continues. That's how this league works, right? And not every former player can be a coach or a coordinator, but we're seeing more than a few now. And a lot of them coaching teams that they played for too. It's awesome.
Definitely. So again, Mike, thank you for the super chat, bud. Drew D says, guys standing out to me so far: Cam Horsley, Sal Wormley, and Shamari Simmons. So
Shamari Simmons, the Sun Devil. That's a slot corner right there. Put him on the radar.
So let's go right down the line here, Emilio. Can you give me their ranking? If you just give me their ranking, I'll go straight to them on the board if you want to look them up. Let's start with Cam Horsley. You kind of already talked about him earlier, right?
Yes, he was. Where did we have him?
I just stopped you from being productive over there, didn't I?
Yeah. Cam Horsley was 261.
Okay, so Cam Horsley was 260, bang right here, 261 out of Boston College. We were just talking about him. Got it. And again, with Cam Horsley, 293rd at his position in 22, jumped to 199, then jumped to 54. So you've seen that steady progression. The only thing bringing him down is that consensus big board. That's wild that there's such a discrepancy there between PFF big board and the consensus big board when we put the information in. Up next, he said Sal Wormley. Did we have him on the board?
I'm not seeing him.
I don't think we did. Let's write him down, man. Sam Wormley. And this is why we do this stuff too. What we ain't got a position for him. Drew, what position is Sam Wormley? I can go look at the register, but I guess the roster.
O-line, Penn State.
O-line, Penn State. Got it.
He's playing on the East.
Cool. We'll mark him down and try to get him added to the board. I added a bunch to the board today, man. And we uncovered a couple that really skyrocketed up the board, too. It was a lot of fun to see them kind of adjust. And then Shamari Simmons. Do we have him, Amelia? You see him?
320.
Yeah.
320. Well, you got him.
74.4 PFF grade for Shamari Simmons. But the thing that was intriguing to me is, 637 slot snaps for him last year. Played in the box 164 snaps, even deep a couple of times, so pretty much a slot corner, one of the few actual slot corners that's in this draft, I think.
Nice. Yeah, so we got Shamari Simmons in the 319 spot. He was 113 at his position in 22. In 23, he dropped all the way to 802. 24, he jumped back up to 203. The PFF big board had him at 225, and the consensus big board had him at 340. So we'll see if he can improve his stock here tonight. As Drew said, that's another player that's kind of sticking out to him. So appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah, we got interception, right?
A little pick there. Who was that?
Who was that?
Michigan. Oh, he took his helmet off and celebrating. That'll get you 15.
Yeah, I'm sure the scouts love to see that. Just saying.
Herring.
Who is it?
Herring.
What's
we
first?
Have him cornerback. Oh, out of Delaware. Okay, small school guy. We have him at 386, 317 on the big board. I'm glad he grabbed it. Overthrown ball.
That wasn't a Michigan helmet I just seen.
It looks like
Michigan.
one.
It looks like a Michigan helmet.
Huh?
That's
It
wild.
sure looks like one. Is Delaware got the same? Maybe he borrowed somebody's helmet. Boys.
I love that my feed is like 30 seconds behind yours. So you guys are saying it, and then I'm seeing it. I love
Tim
it.
gets to actually. Tim gets to tape watch as we give him all the information ahead of time. He's like, "All right, I know what to look for."
You know how that works, man.
Yeah, you're right though, Emilio. Overthrown ball there for sure.
I think it's. I guess we'd have to look up their helmets, but that's the only Herring we have, and he's an East-West Shrine, and the Packers met with him. So, way to put your name out there.
What did you say he was on the board?
386.
Gotcha. So pretty far down. Probably.
All we have on him is a big board. We have not gotten any PFFs on him.
Got it. So just 317 there. There he is, Tyler Herring. So yeah, interesting. I bet somewhere Goody just made a note, right? Okay, a little ball skills. Got it. There you go. So yeah, East is winning 8-0 currently with 13-11 left in the second quarter. I'm going to comb through the interweb one more time.
I was saying it's the same pattern, just a little bit different color for the helmet. So
got it. That's interesting.
You said 13-0?
8-0. That's
13-0. I'm like, man, I'm way behind you guys.
8-0, but there's 13-11 left in the second quarter. That's
Okay.
what it was. Let's see if we can find a box score. I'm still not seeing anything. You got the final box score. Oh, here we go. The live score from Sporting News. No real box score though. That sucks. Come on, ESPN. I'm not trying to be an a-hole here, but we don't care about basketball. Like, why do we got box scores of basketball? Oh, Lord. Who was it?
Okay.
Who was it? Chisholm? There you go, boys. Chisholm is an interesting prospect here. Just made a great catch across the middle, hurdle the defender. Yeah, he's one that's been getting a lot of buzz here lately.
174.
Yeah, let's go look at him. This is really
Efton Chisholm. I mean, and he met with the Packers too, so we'll take that. Little hurdle too. Oops.
Said Efton Chisholm's down there somewhere, right? 176 at his position in 22, jumped to 36 in 23. Guys, he was the highest graded wide receiver in all of college football in 2024. PFF Big Board has him at 242, and the consensus Big Board has him at 267. And again, out of Eastern Washington, if you're wondering how the heck is he the highest graded, obviously smaller school, less talent, all that good stuff that he was competing against. If we go to the Big Board here on PFF, let me take a quick look here. And we can switch to
5'11", 200. Okay.
let's see here. Efton Chisholm, where are you at, sir? I want to see exactly who he played. Maybe they snuck in a big school or two on him if they had a tough opponent. I want to see if he had a chance to compete against anybody. These are all logos I do not know. But week 1 was his best game, 89.6. And then played at the Idaho Vandals there toward about the 3-quarter mark. He had an 80.3 in that game. Then he followed it up with a 75.9, a 83.1, a 88.4. So, yeah, I mean, he yards per route run, 3.45, receiving grade, 92.6, drop rate of only 2.4%. That's right towards the top. And his grade versus man coverage was 72.5. Contested catch was a 58.3%. So, yeah, PFF grades went from 74 to 82 to 91.9. So, Efton Chisholm, definitely somebody who's probably going to be drafted out of a smaller school here. Who is this right here, 81? You see that little end around there?
Is that Ricky White?
I was just looking at our boy Huber there, our Wisconsin boy Joe Huber playing that guard. I like that. Okay.
Let's see who this was out of Cal here. Making a play. That was a wide receiver too, wasn't it? Who is that?
What's that was Noel Williams.
That was Chisholm just now.
Oh yeah, no, it was Chisholm. I thought you were asking about the corner.
Oh no. I was talking about who got the end around there. So they're really trying to showcase Chisholm. There's no doubt about it, man. That's very interesting. So, all right, cool. Let's move it along here. We got a super chat from Mr. Mike Witt. Thank you, Mike. He says, Pack probably won't draft him, but my early draft crush is Jalen Royals. Kind of reminds me of Devontae coming out. Thanks for everything, guys. Hey, Mike, thank you.
Appreciate
it. He's already been kind of linked to the Packers, right, Amelia? Am I thinking right? Jalen Royals? Here, I'll look him up real quick. Let me do the search here so you can keep doing what you're doing there. Jalen.
74.
Yeah, so we got him in the 74 spot. He's got the cheese emoji, so the Packers have already met with him. I'd be okay with that. Where would we take him at, boys? What would that be, the third round, you think? If he's sitting there in the third, would be okay with taking him, or would you reach a little bit and take him in the second?
I don't think I'd reach and go to the second, but third round, yeah.
Yeah, third.
He's like my third favorite on my list here, behind, Jaden Higgins and, Trey Harris out of Ole Miss is a guy I've really fallen in love with too. But Jalen Royals, his tape is crazy nice. And, he kind of has those Devontae Adams type. You get that vibe when you watch his tape.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's that's the same school that Jordan Love went to, right, Emilio? Utah State?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, so probably got a little bit of a pipeline that Goody's got going there after drafting Jordan from that school. Obviously, they didn't play together, I'm sure. With the COVID rules, who knows, though? They might have played, been in college for 10 years now, the way that goes.
Right.
I'm glad we're finally beyond that because that's been very interesting. But, yeah, Jalen Royals been linked to the Packers here early. 2023 grade, he was the 69th highest graded wide receiver. 2024, he was the 65th. PFF Big Board had him in the 72 spot. Consensus Big Board had him at 70. He settles in at the 73 spot for us. So, yeah, man, I would be okay with it. The third round will be ideal, so you don't have to reach, right? I do think there's a chance they take a wide receiver in this draft, though, man. And it would just be absolutely hilarious if this was the year that we took a wide receiver round 1 and blew everybody's mind. In Green Bay draft, could you imagine the crowd going nuts if they took a receiver? What if they let's try to look at a receiver that might fall to them. If we go back and look at all
Jaden Higgins.
Tatero McMillan, right? He's the eighth prospect. He's obviously he's gonna be the first wide receiver off the board. Let's say the second wide receiver on the board is available when we pick somehow, some way, like a Luther Burden or an Egbuka. That would be wild to think if the Packers took one of those two guys,
Luther Burden's dope, but he's a shorty.
Is he?
No short receivers.
No shorties. No chowdies.
No shouties.
Then you got Trey Harris. I know you like him, Tim, out of Ole Miss. He's a taller guy, right?
Yep.
A little bit bigger in stature. And then, of course, Jaden Higgins, the Tim draft crush this year. So, yeah, but Jalen Royals, man, I'd be on board with it at the right pick for sure. In every one of our mock drafts, we've got receiver listed as a need because I do think they need to at least take a shot on a receiver, seeing that Christian's going to be out, for a significant amount of time. I mean, if he makes it back next year, it's going to be, I think, bare bones minimum week 12. Maybe he can do some freakish things and make it back sooner. I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to that, it's just we'll have to wait and see. But
Staying on receiver, I mean, we're in the East-West Shrine here. Ricky White, right here. Where do we have him, Emilio, on our board?
Ricky White,
UNLV.
Yeah, as Daryl says, Ricky White the third is a twitchy wide receiver. For those of you knuckleheads out there, he means elusive. Okay, that's what
we have him at 109. Be 108 on the board total.
Sweet.
So that's another one. What kind of size do we have with Ricky White? I'll pull it up real quick and see if
6'1", 190, so he qualifies.
Tim said he fits the bill.
The thing I like about Ricky White is last year, I mean, he's played all over the place. 128 snaps in the slot. He's been out wide, 243. He seems kind of versatile. And I haven't done a full deep dive on his tape yet, but he's playing tonight, so definitely a guy to watch.
Oh, fumble. Who was it? Sigel, Sigle, with the forced fumble there. Nice stick. Looked like it was on a tight end too, man. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a receiver. Kind of looked like a tight end swing or something there. We do have a flag. Might have led with the helmet.
Ricky White, though, Tim, to your point, PFF 22, I think they had him at 500. 23, he was the 6th best, and 24, he was 47th. The big board's kind of just bringing him down there. But, I mean, he's speedy, too. I mean, he's got some wheels.
Yep, coming off of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Looks like he could be another one of those guys. I don't think you go up and reach for him, but, third round or later if he's on the board.
I'll get the PFF board up for us here too, so we can kind of comb through some of these prospects that everybody's mentioning. Let's get it up here. Give me just a second.
I don't think we have him. The guy that just made that phone.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him at all. Looks like, is that a Kansas State logo? Yeah. So, yeah, nice stick there, though, man.
We need to just get their whatever they have for stats after the game. We just need to get that list. Throw that.
No doubt. Like I said, I was hoping we'd have a box score, but they obviously don't care too much. Maybe the Senior Bowl will be handled a little bit different. But you guys were talking about Ricky White, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky White, where are you, sir? Here we go. 182 is where PFF has him. And see if we can get this zoomed in enough for you guys. Yeah, 65, then a 90, then an 80 PFF grade. Yards per route run, 2.93. Receiving grade, 82. Drop rate's a little high there, ain't it, Tim, at 8.2%. Yeah. Contested catch rate down, too. So
he's like a receiver looking for an identity, it seems like. And that could explain the inconsistencies in the grading and the numbers because he's playing all over the place. I mean, you can see that at least the last 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah, look at this. Was it yards per reception? Each year, even if he had a bad year in 22, he was over 12. I mean, his highest almost topping out at 17 yards a catch. That's an explosive play waiting to happen right there.
For sure.
Oh, here we go. Look like an explosive hit here. Who was this out of the backfield? Arizona running back. Who would that masked man be? Arizona running back that's on the field tonight. That would have to be Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt, maybe. Yep, looks like it is number 31. He's 413 on the consensus big board. So
he scored earlier. I'm pretty sure he's the one that scored earlier.
Yeah, they're running a lot of toss plays out of the gun here. Of course, that might have been under center, but yeah. So there you go with that. Mock Wit with the super chat. What about a good punt returner so we don't risk Reed on punt returners? That's a great question. I don't have a whole lot of information on punt returners. Jake last night, Jake Shavink mentioned a DB. Do you guys remember who it was? Who was the cornerback? I think he was linked to the Packers. We drafted him, if I remember correctly. I don't think we saved our draft, or maybe it was my trade or my draft here. Who would it have maybe been? Kobe Bryant, maybe, or Zy Alexander? Might have been Zy Alexander. I think it was. I think it was Zy Alexander that he said's been doing punt returns at the Senior Bowl, maybe. So, it was one of those.
That's where you get them, right? You get a DB and not a receiver. Hopefully, you don't want to risk another wideout getting hurt.
Exactly. You got to play that safe, man. You do.
Mm-hmm.
I hate seeing Jaden Reed back there returning punts. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It drives me crazy. Oh, look at this little zone read here from the quarterback all the way down inside the one. This is the dude that's not even on the roster out of what we say, North Dakota State. Is that what it was? South Dakota State? Yeah, North Dakota.
NDSU, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the Wisconsin guard there, Huber. Just wall him down. Woo.
Yeah. Really is, man. Let's go. Look at the blocking out front from the receiver too. Who was that? Finishing strong. Let's go. These Bulls are out there trying to improve that draft stock, no doubt.
No block, no rock.
So
block.
East is leading. East is leading 8-0 at the moment, right? All right, we're under center now. Little A set. Looks like 11 with a Z nasty. No, 12 with a Z nasty. I'm sorry. Oh Lord, we have a false start, or yeah, probably, or illegal formation maybe. That's tough. All right, no, they called a timeout. Wow. Okay, so East used the timeout there. So East is leading 8-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, as they're looking to punch it in again here and take over. So yeah, Mike, I think it was Zy Alexander that Jake mentioned last night. It was either Zy Alexander or Kobe Bryant, one of those two. Check on him for punt returns. That might be something where you get a little extra value with a rookie in that regard. So appreciate the super chat, Buck. All right, let's see what else we got. We had some news, a little bit of news break earlier today in terms of really there were several things mentioned in the Packers here. Let's go to another player that we had to add to the board earlier here. I think I told you guys about this earlier. Clemson cornerback R.J. Mickens. The Packers met with him today at the Shrine Bowl, or yesterday. Maybe the news broke today and they met yesterday. But R.J. Mickens, cornerback out of Clemson, on the Packers' radar too. I want to say he was a lower pick, Emilio, if I remember correctly. He was way down.
Don't have a number for him yet.
Got it. Yeah.
190th overall on PFF.
What'd you say?
190. PFF's got him at 190, 17th overall. They got him listed as a safety.
What was his last year's grade, PFF, Tim?
87.5.
Oh, wow. Man, watch this guys shoot right up the board. Okay. You said 190 on their big board?
Yep.
And they had him as safety?
They have him listed as a safety, yeah.
Interesting.
Welcome to a new home.
There you go. And East just scored. Little run up the middle there. It's now 14-0. We'll see if they go for two or not. There's 7:56 left in the second quarter. If you guys would hit that like button for us, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us here during the.
Tim has just upgraded his friend here, Mickens. Let's see if we can just get this resorted.
Yeah, where's he landing at? And I'll pull him up.
Our boy now has landed at 177.
Okay. I like him because he's played slot too. He can play slot. He might be another Bullard type of guy. Play a little back end boundary and in the slot too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So R.J. Mickens, as you can see here, like Emilio said, in the
sound like a used car salesman. Come on down, really R.J. Mickens.
In the 176 spot here. And we'll get the rest of that information in. I can run all that down for us tomorrow, Emilio, for sure. Listed as a safety. You guys are wondering what the blue and the green are. The green are positions of tier 1 importance. So tackle, right? Tackle and quarterback on offense. And then on defense, defensive tackle and edge are the tier 1 importance positions. If they're in blue, it means they're tier 2. That's typically a stack back or a potential mic, right? And a post safety or just a safety in general, because college is very interchangeable, just like the pros. And then on offense, center will be the only tier 2 position. And we got to sort through the interior offensive line and make sure we're differentiating between the guys that can actually play center. Like Marcus Weir, he's been practicing at center all week, right? So we should probably just go ahead and highlight him in the blue. That way we know. As a matter of fact, I'll do it right now. We'll just go ahead and hit that. Bang, not green, blue, colorblind over here. All right, so we'll know that he's being mentioned as a center as well. Mike Witt with the super chat, thanks, buddy. He says, do we get a comp pick if we lose Myers in free agency? We should, right, guys? It just depends on it depends on at the end whether or not they feel like you got equal compensation in your free agent signings, right? That's really what it comes into, if I remember correctly. So it all depends on
I thought I saw a tweet about that. Let's see. It was the one I saw was compensation. Yash Nyman was the 7th round. Was that last year or this year? That'd be this year's, right? Yeah, so the only one I saw was, I guess, if Myers goes, it'd be for next year, right?
Right, correct. Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we have Yash that would be that 7th round for this year.
That's right. Yeah. So this was an interesting clip that Jordan Sigler put out earlier on Twitter. Look at Walter Nolan just wrecking shop, boys. Telling you, man, that's my guy. That's my guy right there. Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Look at the burst, man. The speed. I mean, just off. That first step is wild. I think he's going to skyrocket up boards. Hopefully he's there when we pick at 23. I'd be totally on board with that pick. As you guys can tell, I won't stop talking about it. But, yeah, we should if Myers leaves in free agency, he's probably going to get paid a pretty good chunk too, and I think that factors in to what the comp pick ends up being as well. It kind of depends on – it's the way the league can keep everything balanced, basically saying, okay, if you lose a lot of guys in free agency, then we're going to give you some compensation picks so you can build your roster back up the following year. I love how the league works. I don't know about you guys. I think it's absolutely awesome. Worst team picking first, all that stuff. I think it's great.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it would be – imagine if we had the lottery, it's like – and then I don't know, man. I think I'd rather just stick with how it is now, and then it's not like we haven't been successful, even though we don't pick first every year. So,
right. Here was Trevor Sycamore with this tweet from the Senior Bowl earlier today. Jack Besh out of TCU. We talked about him earlier. Look at this contested catch right here, boys. Got good size there, too. Look at this. Late hands. Let's go. Nice grab. So,
how about these hands?
Damn, that came out of nowhere.
Exactly what he said.
Mike, thank you for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you. Moving along here. Let's see. We'll get to that here in just a second. I think this is great news. But super chat from Aaron Rogers says, I blame Emilio. I'm on the build the trenches. Get 2 interior defensive line, 2 O-line, and edge. Call it a draft after that. Laughing emoji.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody's on the train.
I thought we were going to get roasted when I tweeted that out last night, that draft we did.
Did they love it?
People seem to like it, man. I think they remember that Eagles game too,
I mean, you got to bring in competition. That'll bring out the best in everybody. If someone steps up that's already on our roster, good. If somebody steps up that we just drafted, good. I mean, that's what I'm asking. Let's get the best out there. They talk about the best 5 all the time, but let's make it a competition to get there.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. Aaron Rodgers, we're going to blame Emilio for building the trenches for sure. We appreciate the super chat, buddy. Did you guys see this? Some news broke earlier today where go ahead. You have one up there. Go ahead.
No, I hit the wrong one. I wanted to say too old for this. Aaron Rodgers gives you too much money for a college student.
Hey,
I love it.
That's what it is, man. These kids nowadays, man. He's been a great supporter of the show. We appreciate it. He tweets, sends me a lot of DMs on Twitter as well, just mock drafts and stuff. I love when people kind of bounce ideas off of me because it keeps me thinking outside of the box of what I'm. It's easy if you just stay in your own little echo chamber,
Yeah.
and you don't really take other people's opinion into consideration. You just find yourself. It's a miserable way to be a football fan. It really is.
Yep.
You just end up being that dude screaming at the cloud all the time and everybody else is wrong and you're right. And, I love that people send me different mock drafts and different ideas. Hey, what do you think about trading for this guy? It just kind of keeps me sharp, and kind of to the point. But here it said, and I tweeted this out. I heard multiple reports. I think it was Pro Football Talk that put it out first that I seen. Said great news. The NFL recorded its lowest number of concussions since they began monitoring it in 2015. So, boys, the Guardian Caps are here to stay. Obviously, it didn't help Rome down the stretch here, where you got another concussion there toward the end of the season. In that last game, was it against Philly that he got that second concussion? Am I thinking right?
Yeah.
It was fairly early in the game, but it seems like the Guardian Caps are working. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I guess we can go around the horn with it. I like it. And I think these are the way to do it, too. If a player's going to wear a Guardian cap, at least it's got the G on it. Kind of looks like it, belongs as opposed to that other thing they were wearing in training camp. But listen, first and foremost, man, the concussion thing is, to me, it's not anything to play around with, man. And I grew up in the 90s, watched a little bit of football in the late 80s, but really became just absolutely fell in love with the game of football in the 90s. There's nobody that loves hard hits more than me. But, man, it just got to the point with the CET and everything that it's like we got to do something. It's nice to see the numbers are starting to go down a little bit, fellas.
I think the Guardian caps are cool, and I like that at least for right now, it's optional for them to wear it in game. So it's a player preference kind of thing. And really, when it comes to the helmet to helmet, leading with the helmet, that's something you gotta coach that out of the game. And I think they've been doing a good job probably the past 10 years or so of just really at all levels trying to coach that out of football and make sure you're seeing what you're hitting. But hey, let's be real. It's a dangerous game, right? And a concussion can happen. We see guys get concussed just going up and high pointing the ball and landing funny. It has nothing to do with, helmet to helmet or anything dirty. So it's just, they are part of the game. Concussions are injuries, and injuries are a part of football. But, if they're reducing the number of these concussions with, coaching, technique and, guardian caps and whatever it takes, they've got AI now, they've got chips in the helmets. They can, analyze impact and all those things, see how it's affecting a player. I mean, it's all good for player safety. But at the end of the day, man, it's a dangerous game, right? These are grown men out there playing a dangerous game.
Yeah,
I think it's a great point, Tim. You got to remember the ground does half the damage, time and time again too. But I honestly think they just need to keep hammering in the technology aspect of it. They've saved. I know that they got a couple helmets that they say work better than a helmet with a guardian cap on it, and some players aren't changing. No worries. Like run the guardian cap, but I like just keep innovating, make the helmet safer and safer. And at some point, if we can, get that shock. I mean, because even like when I was playing, and my dad saw it, was like he couldn't even believe the change from when he played. So it's just it's just going to keep going and going.
It's true. Go
Crosby
ahead.
Farley says the guardian caps only help with the low impact concussions. The big thing that causes CTE. And I did a little bit of research into this, and obviously watching the movie Concussion and then all the documentaries after it and all that, is in the pit, those offensive linemen, they call them micro concussions, where it's just when we were growing up, they were called getting your bell rung. Happened to me. Baseball, once or twice a season, you get plugged in the head, right? You get beamed in the helmet, and you'd see stars, right? And you think, okay, the helmet helps. It does. But that impact enough, you know what I'm talking about. You get the sparklers, right? Like the 4th of July, the spirit fingers out here, right? Somebody going to clip that, spirit fingers. But yeah, no, dude, it's we always call that getting your bell rung.
Yep.
But just so happens those are micro concussions is what it sounds like.
One of those where you take a play or two off, shake it off, back out there, But I mean, micros when you're out. I mean, you're O lineman, you're marching down the field, you're not coming out. At one point, you're just going to go to the huddle, shake it off real quick and keep going. It's tough.
Yep.
No doubt. So yeah, like he said, it only helps with the low impact concussions, man. You take a lick like Dobbs did hitting the turf like there's not a whole lot you can do, right?
Yep.
Much larger impact. Mike Witt with the super chat says, hot take, I think Devontae comes back home this offseason. Him and Jacobs are good friends, and I think he regrets leaving in the first place. I agree. I definitely agree with I think he regrets leaving. I do. I don't think he did last year or the year before, but now I'm thinking he's like, man, I probably should have never left. In terms of him coming back this offseason, we talked about it, man. It's kind of like Jair. There's probably about a 50-50 shot that he ends up in Green Bay and Jai ends up gone, 50% chance there as well. Has anything changed on the front for you guys, seeing that there's – what was it? Was it Olave in New Orleans that they were rumored the Jets were potentially looking to trade for and put him and his boy Garrett Wilson back together? If that happens, I think Devontae probably just gets cut outright because his cap hit is like $30 million, but almost none of it is guaranteed. So they could free up a ton of money.
Right.
If he gets cut, I think Green Bay's giving him a call. There's no doubt about that. What do you boys think about Devontae here?
I would say 100%. I agree with that. If he's a cut outright, I guarantee you that he's going to get a call for sure. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if because I'm exactly where I was, 2 weeks ago with this. Technically, Ja's under contract, Ja's a Packer, and Tay Adams is a New York Jet right now. And until we know otherwise, it's kind of just pure feeling and speculation. But I don't think it's that hot of a take. I mean, Mike's got a point here. I think there is a connection with him and Jacobs, and then obviously there's a connection with Tay and 1265, right? He's well respected and loved here in Green Bay. So I don't think it's entirely off base to think that there's a chance he comes back. I don't know. I can't go more than 50-50 at this point.
Yeah. What do you think, Emilio? You think Devontae Adams is coming back, man?
Yeah, he was my pick to hook the train to for offense and Khalil for defense. But yeah, I would totally take Devontae back this year. We figure out the right number, make it work for both sides. And hey, you take a little bit of a team-friendly deal. We're coming back to each other. We'll get you, the chase for the ring that you've been after. No hard feelings, sort of work it out. It's going to be a little give and take, I would definitely think, but I'm totally for it.
Yeah, if you sign Devontae, like you're saying, you get a year or two out of him, right? And you go get Khalil Mack, you get a year or two out of him. You can really bolster the defense and the offense. That frees you up to go get that 3 tech you're talking about. You can get your depth at linebacker that you need. You can go get a cornerback in the draft and maybe go early like we were talking about, second round, maybe even earlier at first. Who knows if they do go with someone like who was the guy that Daniel Jeremiah, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, mocked to us at cornerback at 23. Now, he had Shamar Stewart. There it was. It was Kyle Crabb's mock draft with the 33rd team has Trey Amos. So let's say you did that. You went and got Devontae, right? You went and got Khalil Mack to help out on the defensive line. Let's say you took Trey Amos with the 23rd pick, and then you came back and got a 3 tech, whether it's a Derek Harmon, somebody like that in the second round. Boys, that's a hell of an offseason. That really, really is, man. And then you get a couple of these guys that we really like in the draft on offensive line with some versatility. Kick Elton over to center if one of the rookies don't step up. I still think there's a chance Josh Myers comes back. I personally hope it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Goody tries to get him for the right price. But, yeah, Devontae coming back would be awesome.
It would be. And just to that pick 6 that just happened, our boy O'Donnell Fortune, cornerback out of South Carolina.
Here's the guy.
We had him at 230 with a PFF in 22 of 91, 23, 456, 24, 18. PFF big board 145. Consensus had him at 352.
So you said 145. I think I got sorted by positions right here. Give me just a second. O'Donnell Fortune, right?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Let's go. And that's a cornerback, Emilio?
That's what they had him as. I'd maybe throw safety, but I think you'll find him.
All right, let's see here. Here we go. O'Donnell Fortune, yeah. All right, yeah, so 6'1", 185, 23 years old out of South Carolina. Obviously played with a lot of talent there, man. The East is lighting it up, aren't they?
Yep, off a tip, too. Good hands, good hand-eye contact. Fought through a little tackle there midway.
That hoodie looks clean, too. I ain't going to lie, man. That hoodie looks clean. I think
Fire up the boat.
Fire it up.
Fire up the boat. It's coming.
Donald Fortune with the pick 6, 6'1", 185 out of South Carolina, 2022 PFF grade, 78. Then he fell to a 68. Then last year jumped to 85, the 18th highest graded corner, according to
Draft him. He's wearing the James Jones hoodie. You got to draft him.
What'd you say we had him at, Emilio? Do you remember the rank?
230.
230. So we had him at 230. PFF has him at 153.
And consensus had him at 352.
Okay. Let me see where he's at right now. O'Donnell Fortune. Now he's at 405 on the consensus big board. So we're probably you're looking at 7th round pick, 6th, 7th round pick, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Holmes says, sounds like the name of a leprechaun.
So he crushed that. It really does, man. O'Donnell Fortune. It's not magic. It's in me pocket.
Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, a little too tall to be a leprechaun. Almost 6'1", just saying. So there you go. Guys starting to flash here at the East-West Shrine Bowl, man. East is running away with it. Boy, somebody's going to have to grab some face masks on the west sideline and go, boys, we can't go out like this. It's 22.
Yeah, we need to put some points up here. There's no way they're going to like our tape if we don't get anything here.
All you got to do is look at your sideline and go, y'all want to get drafted?
Right.
Don't you guys want to get drafted?
And the very first play after the pick 6, they bobble the snap and they check it down for 2 yards. There you
go. That's positive.
We'll take it.
Got a new quarterback in. I think we're good.
All right. Who is he, Emilio?
I don't know yet. Hold on.
That's what I thought. Got a new quarterback in. We're good to go. Who is he? I have no idea.
He was waiting the whole time. He said, Coach, put me in, man.
Oh, man. 2-0 for this. Says getting Tay is more important than Crosby, in my opinion. Wow. Let's think about that for a second. Which one, if you had to choose between the two, fellas, Tay Adams at wide receiver or Max Crosby at edge, who
I'm
would
way
you
too old
probably
for this, baby. Bring
Tay?
Tay home.
Yeah, for sure. Just because I mean I don't want to have to worry about Max's contract for so long. We have so many others that are going to be coming up and moving like quickly. We're going to have to start paying people. So I'd rather not have to worry about hammering that out. Let's just give Tay one 1 to 2 and cut it at 2. Let's not push it out too far and just be done with it. Move on. We have a lot of talent up and coming. We just kind of need a little extra oomph. When you squirt the starter fluid in the carb to get it going, we just need a little bit of that. That's it. Because it goes away, the engine starts running afterwards. We need a little bit.
If Tay Adams walks in that locker room, that entire receiver room is going to step their game up immediately.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Bro. I'll tell you, the first thing I do if I was LaFleur is I go straight over to Dontavion Wicks and go, listen, buddy, you better be in his back pocket the entire time. Because I'm telling you, man, they're cut from the same type of cloth with that route running.
From the fans, we got Drew D with Crosby, Chris C with Adams, Greg Rice, Crosby, Holmes, Adams,
J.
Cole.
J. Cole breaks the tie, baby.
We're going poll question. All right, everybody, make sure you get your vote in. The poll question is going to be, which player would you rather have? Right?
Get it while it's hot.
And we're going to go Davante Adams, right?
What'd you say?
Huh?
What'd you say, Clay?
Get ready to go.
I was like, what did I do? Oh, no, I said a wordy dirt. Max Crosby. Mandy tells
Too
me
old for this says AFAM would rather have AFAM than Crosby and Tay.
All right, well, the poll question's up. Get your votes in now, all right? And AFAM, no still in voter ID over there. You hear me? I know how you operate, sir, okay? Don't be over there voting as
you only get one vote, whoever you're logged in as.
We're about to figure out AFAM's burner right now. Oh, man, the votes are flying in already. We already got 18 votes. It's Davante Adams, 61%, Max Crosby, 39%. Get your votes in, gang. Get your votes in.
A little bit more split than I thought. I mean, I guess it did start to even out. I guess J. Cole did break the tie, so I'd like to see what that's at the end.
Definitely. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, my best friend is a diehard Giants fan. He desperately wants Cam Ward. He thinks he's going to be better than Shedeur. What say you guys? That's a great question. Emilio, we have Cam Ward now higher than Shedeur Sanders, correct? Am I thinking right, or is it?
Let me double check that here.
Yeah, I can do it. I can go right here, man. Let me
Ward.
get it on the screen for you too. So we'll take a look at it here. I got you.
So he is 6. Shedeur Sanders we have at 10. So I'm sorry, 5th and 10th.
All right, so here you go. Yeah, Cam Ward is sitting in the 5th spot. All right. PFF grade, he was the 242nd graded quarterback in 22. Then he jumped to 70. Then he jumped to number 2. PFF Big Board had him in the 16th spot. The consensus Big Board had him at number 1 when we took the information down. Shedeur Sanders is down here at a 17.3. I mean, that's significantly lower. That's 2 tiers lower if we do tiers of 5 points, right? And we may end up going 10 points. We'll take a vote on it as a team here at PTA. But, yeah, so Shedeur Sanders he came in at the 53rd graded quarterback of 22, 24th in 23, 9th in 24. The PFF Big Board is what's bringing him down, though. Cam Ward was 16th on the PFF Big Board. Shedeur Sanders was 42. That's really the separator there. It really is. So I'm interested to see what Daniel Jeremiah ends up having, what the 33rd team has on their horizontal board. That may kind of balance those back out. So if we were going strictly off our board, here, Mike, tell you, buddy, we agree Cam Ward. But like you said, there's probably a chance that Shedeur Sanders ends up being that dude. I don't even know how the draft lays out here. The Giants picked before the Raiders, right? Am I thinking right, fellas?
I think so.
Pull up that draft picture.
Pull up a mock. Pull up one of those mocks.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at PFF right now with Cam Ward, 92.9 grade in 2024, 4,300 yards season. The guy's a walking 67% completion percentage guy. There's all the argument in the world to think that he could.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. Giants are 3rd. Raiders are 6th. So they have in this what do you say? Die Hard Giants, Cam Ward. So yeah, that's who they.
Mock is that? Whose mock is that?
Daniel Jeremiah's mock.
Yeah.
This one is.
Good call. So yeah, the Browns aren't going to be taking a quarterback, right? The Titans may. Everybody's just rolling out.
Yeah.
The Titans aren't going to take a quarterback. I think there's a chance they could go quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They got new management in there. They got a new head coach. They're liable to come in and go, this mayo eating sucker here from Kentucky's out. You know what I mean? I said sucker. Don't you dare try to say I said a dirty word there. All right. But yeah, I could see them trying to deal him out of there for a 5th or a 6th round pick and then just drafting a QB. I wouldn't, rule it out. Now, here's the thing though. If they decide to go opposite of quarterback, best on the board for us is Mason Graham, then Travis Hunter, then Abdul Carter. So if they wanted to go Abdul Carter or Mason Graham, that makes all the sense in the world too there with the number 1 pick. You know, I mean, it really does.
Yep.
So yeah, Daniel Jeremiah had the Giants taking Cam Ward at number 3, and then Shador going to the Raiders. I think Kyle Crabb had it the same way, right? Yep. Kyle Crabb has the Giants taking Cam Ward. I would say as it sits right now, Mike, your buddy's in good shape, man. I think he's going to get the guy he wants there in Cam Ward.
Yeah. Well, Jacksonville's not going to take a quarterback, so they're not going to screw anything up for you.
All right. What were you going to say, Emilio? Did you have something?
No, I was just saying unless somebody trades up or Titans are playing games. But you're right, Tim. Jacksonville is just
Duval.
Yeah. It's the eyes for me, man. The eyes are looking around like, somebody please help me. Please help me. 137% Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus.
Stuart.
Stuart.
That's all I see when I see that guy. I'm sorry.
All right. So another thing that came down to pocket. And again, Mike, thank you so much for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you, man. You've been too kind tonight. Please know that it does not go unnoticed.
Absolutely.
So one of the dudes that's sticking out here is our boy Ariante Ursary. We talked about him last night. I think we ended up drafting him, if I remember correctly, right? When we went with our trenches draft. Look at this, boys. This dude is look how big he is. He just kind of plays with guys. Look at this. Watch out. This is my favorite rep. Watch this. Just you see him smack the hands? Did you see
That's
that?
Landon Jackson, too. I mean, he's not a slot. I mean, he's not a pass rusher per se. He's definitely more of a run defender, but I mean, he still played at Arkansas and was a 91 on Ultimate Team card. So, I mean, dude was good. Like,
It's so quick. Watch him smack his hands. Look, bang. See it? Watch how quick. Bang. Just that chop and then set.
He's got a good left stiff arm, too.
Really, really impressive. Again, this is NFL Draft Files on Twitter that tweeted out that video. I want to give them credit at NFL _. I think it's Draft Files. So,
we got an injury. Who got hurt there?
Oh no,
on the
Miller?
East.
Was it the quarterback?
Somebody limped off the field.
Might have been his pride getting hurt because he dropped the snap there. I don't know. Let's see here. This is definitely not what you want to see, man. You don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Yeah.
That sucks. All right, we'll keep it moving. So yeah, Ursary, Emilio, where's Ursary at on our board now? Because he is really high. Right? I mean, he's right toward the top. We got at offensive tackle, we got Kelvin Banks in the number 7 spot. Then we got Mimbo at 12. I thought Ursary was pretty high.
He's 34th.
34th. Okay, so he did climb up, but he's not quite as high. I think it's Mimbo I was thinking of that's just skyrocketed up the board. So, yeah, Ursary, 311th at his position. Then he jumped to 11th, dropped to 53. The consensus big board has him in the 29 spot out of Minnesota. He's just a hoss, man. He's a huge, huge human being for sure. So, all right. Other news here. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier in the broadcast. How do you guys feel about Jack Kaiser? Some people are saying he's undersized. He's 6'1", 227. He's obviously a captain for Notre Dame this year. That awesome defense that got him all the way to the national championship. I just tweeted out former Notre Dame captain linebacker Jack Kaiser currently ranks 102 on our PTA big board. His top speed at the Senior Bowl practice was clocked at 20.55 mile per hour, putting him in the top 5 of defensive backs, even though he plays linebacker at 6'1", 227. So he would have been the 5th fastest defensive back. He's the 2nd fastest linebacker at the Senior Bowl. So what do you guys think about Jack Kaiser, man? Do you think it might be a solid pick there around 3 or 4, right?
Yeah. gonna have to give him a couple of Culver burgers, but besides that, I'd say he's ready to go. I mean, I just like he's captain, knows how to run the defense.
Get ready to go.
He was kind of all over the place in the last game. You know, when you kind of key in on him, I wouldn't be mad at it. Maybe a stab at it, but a little undersized for me.
Got it. Tim, what do you think, man? Because that's the big conversation with Jack Kaiser. Is he too small to play at the NFL level? 6'1", 227.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are there. PFF's got him at 82.7 grade. Looks like he's got a decent he's decent against the run. But yeah, I mean, size is one of those things that what do you do about it?
You can't teach it.
Tell a guy you tell a guy to grow. Like, I don't know how you I mean, you can put some weight on, but that's about it. You can put weight on or take it off. That's pretty much it. He can't control his height. Where did they have him listed? 6'2", right?
6'1" 3/4", I think, was the actual measurement. So a quarter of an inch from 6'2". So yeah.
Chisholm again with a deep dig. I mean, just at the hash.
Who was it?
Chisholm at the hash, like a 15, 20-yard stop. It was either a curl or a little short dig in.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jack Kaiser's one to keep an eye on. We got the poll question update here. We got 36 votes in. Everybody get your vote in right now. We got 77 people watching live here on YouTube. Get your vote in. Which player would you rather have on the Packers roster, Devontae Adams or Max Crosby? Right now, Devontae Adams leads at 53%. Max Crosby comes in at 47%. So it really tightened up. 53 to 47 is where the vote's at now. So really interesting. Let's move it along. Actually, I think we're all caught up on my Twitter feed, so we're good there. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we get into halftime here? Obviously, we got the East team is driving again.
Okay.
This is an absolute boat race.
All right, yeah. Well, let's finish this out. But remind me once we go to halftime, I got a question for you. Oh,
go ahead.
Do they have time?
What's the question? Wait, what question?
The question is on GM Shuffle they were saying he said that he could see Rodgers going to the Rams if they move on from Matt Stafford.
That's really interesting, huh?
He said just because, you think about it, you got a quarterback that's kind of already worked that system. You got a young defense. He's already got some wide receiver weapons over there. If Matt Stafford wants that $60 million payday that, Trevor Lawrence got, Jordan Love got, Matt Stafford's 27 or 30 million right now. He's half of what they're costing, and he's got a ring. So imagine if Stafford's like, "Hey, I'm moving on. I want to go to another place that's going to pay me the 60," and Rodgers goes, "Hey, I'll take 30, 35." They were saying, he said that he could possibly see that happening.
That's really interesting. What do you think about that, Tim? Aaron Rodgers to the L.A. Rams. Hey, he got that Malibu home, right? To the best of my knowledge, it didn't get hit with the fires, so he still got that home out there.
You guys know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. I've said it before. He's going to the golf course.
Tim,
going to the golf course. Hey, don't be surprised if he doesn't play golf professionally at some point.
Right.
He is a dog playing golf.
I'm telling you, I don't think he plays football anymore.
He was just saying he was just putting it out there as a possibility if Stafford moves on, because you got the Raiders and you got Pittsburgh, all the usual suspects. He's saying if Stafford moves on, that could be something you want to look at.
And I would agree that it's possible. Yes, for sure. If Aaron plays, I'm in the camp that I think he's not going to play.
That's just crazy because it never crossed my mind. It never crossed my mind one time, and it makes so much sense. It really does. That he would go to LA. I mean, it's California. It's the same offense he ran in Green Bay, right? He got two great wide receivers in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Got a great running back in Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Kyron Williams, right?
Got a good defense that they invested in the D-line, Fisk, and I mean they had a lot of young guys that played extremely well this past year.
Yeah, it's a good question. Right before halftime there, you seen a guy with a hustle sack chase the play all the way across the backside of the play. That was Elijah Roberts, defensive lineman from SMU. We have him currently in the 63 spot on our big board. The PFF grades are just crazy. Look at this. Went from 267th all the way to number 4. then back at number 6 the following year. The thing that's bringing him down the consensus big board at 166. So that's the one thing that's kind of bringing him. If it wasn't for the consensus big board, you're talking about a first round talent player, and it may still be. The fact that the consensus big board had him so low really says a lot. Elijah Roberts, Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, did we hit this one? Is this from earlier or something? I'm not seeing it marked in here. That's
No,
interesting.
I don't.
Huh. We may have unmarked it by accident. I think I might have. There we go. We got it marked now. I want to hold on to it to thank everybody at the end. He said another guy I like is Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Your thoughts on him, Mike? I've gotten in a lot of trouble talking about Jack Sawyer. People don't, for whatever reason, they do not like Jack Sawyer. I think it's because they hate the Ohio State Buckeyes, but we have Jack Sawyer in the 14 spot on our big board. And I'm telling you right now, if we took him at 23, I would have no problem with it. But I need to warn you, Mike, before you go on social media, you will get absolutely cooked if you say something about Jack Sawyer at 23.
You will be cooked by Michigan fans. Yes.
That is correct, sir. So what do you guys think about Jack Sawyer? Again, PFF grade. He was 223rd at his position there in 2022. Then he jumped to 18th. Then he jumped to 7th. PFF big board has him at 21, and the consensus big board has him at 39. So just based off those two big boards, right there in the wheelhouse for the 23rd pick. What do you think, man?
Sometimes you got to take best available if that's what's there. I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, if you have a freak talent like that and it falls to you, and if it's not on your top 6 needs, you still sometimes need to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
6'5",
what is he? 6'5", 220 or something? 260. 6'5", 260.
Is he really?
Yeah. That's PFF has got him at 6'5", 260. Pure pass rushing monster. 90.5 PFF grade last year, 10 sack season. Yeah, man, I would not be mad at all about Jack Sawyer being a Packer.
I agree. There you go, Mike. We're on board with it, but we're just it's like a scooter. You know what I mean? They're fun to ride, but we're not going to tell everybody else that we're riding them. You know what I'm saying? We'll get made fun of. So we gotta protect the integrity here when it comes to Jack Sawyer for whatever reason. Drew D says Johnny Walker's destroying dudes out there. Got the coolest name in the draft. I've said it 1,000 times. Johnny Walker Jr. Let's see where he's at on our board real quick, and we'll get ready to wrap this thing up, man. As we are at halftime now, we're going to get into some of the
256.
Another Missouri guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 255 PFF grade in 23 was 491, but then he jumped to 66. The PFF big board has him at 217. Consensus big board had him at 295. So that could be a dude there in the 7th round, right? With the 250th pick in the NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers select Johnny Walker Jr. and everybody takes a drink. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it works. So. All right, Johnny Walker Jr. has entered the chat.
Got to be the Johnny Blue, though, the blue label. That's what you got to have, man.
Antonio Universe, also known as Antonio, says Sawyer is a stud. What about Kyle Kennard from the Gamecocks in the 3rd or 4th round? Let's go look up Kyle
91.
Kennard. 91, you say?
Yep.
All right, Kyle Kennard, 91 spot here. At 91, his PFF grade in 22, he was the 847th graded edge. Then he jumped all the way to 311. Then he jumped all the way to 138. Well, you talking about a steady improvement there. A PFF big board has him at 44. The consensus big board has him at 64. So, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Antonio. We got a 3rd round grade on him too, don't we, boys? Right there around late 2nd, early 3rd. So
absolutely, our 3rd was 87, right?
Yeah, 3rd. Yeah, so 3rd round grade on him. So yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Kyle Kennard, edge defender out of South Carolina. What's his size like, guys? Do we know? Kyle Kennard, edge defender.
I mean, he looks like he was flying around.
6'5", 254.
Good Lord. That's a big old boy.
Hey,
I think you might have uncovered one there, Antonio. I like it, man. I'd be okay with that for sure. And Mike Witt says, last message of the night. Here goes the nightcap, guys. He says,
Mike over here paying the bills tonight. I love it.
I think Rodgers and McVay's personalities would clash big time, in my opinion. That's interesting. Sean McVay, I want to disagree on that, Mike, because Sean McVay is very like, the only reason I would disagree is he got rid of Goff because he said, I wanted a partner, I didn't want a pupil, right? And I think that's kind of how he would see Aaron.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
Definitely.
an extension of the coaching staff. But at the same time, look, you can't. I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm with Tim. I hope he retires so we can come back, retire that 12, and he can come, Packers Hall of Fame, all that good stuff. But you can't deny the fact that he has clashed with people, right? He has.
Mm-hmm.
So of all the coaches, I feel like Sean McVay is probably the easiest one to get along with, though. So don't take this the wrong way, like me saying I think they would be okay because Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be an issue. He's just so demanding, right? That's the big thing with Aaron. And I know it comes across like it's everybody else's fault. I can see how that image can be portrayed, but man, I'm just telling you, I've played sports at a very, very low level, and that's how it is,
Yep.
Like I'm talking about a very low level. Like when you're in the heat of the battle, Bill Belichick said it best. Like they pull up the old tapes of Bill Parcells just roasting him on the sideline, and he's like, "Listen, when you're in the heat of the battle, you give an order, you take an order. There's no time to have a conversation about it. There's no time for feelings to get hurt. You're trying to get the job done in the heat of the moment." And I think after the game, that's why you see Aaron Rodgers' teammates. I think they love him for the most part, with the exception of a Greg Jennings and a Jermichael Finley, right?
Right.
Sounds like him and Garrett Wilson clashed a little bit, but I don't blame Garrett for being upset either that Devontae Adams comes in and just all of a sudden all of the attention gets directed there, right? He wants to get his touches, and it's not like the team was winning. So I can see how you get frustrated there too. What do you guys think about that? We'll get ready to wrap this stream up here.
I think it's a fair point, definitely. He already has dealt with LaFleur. However, he wants to slice that. I still love Rodgers and everything he did for us, and maybe McVay would look at it a little differently. McVay's already won a Super Bowl. I don't know if that gives you anything else, or he's been to the top. Maybe he likes the talent a little bit more. But I possibility definitely that they would clash. But if you could get past that, I mean, if you could suck up, just, hey, sometimes you have a captain on the boat, sometimes you have a first mate, lead deck, and all that stuff. You need to have levels to it. So I wouldn't be opposed to him having, them going at it and taking a run.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they're, on the surface, it looks like they might clash, but I think at the end of the day, you're going if they move on from Stafford, you're going from one vet to another vet. And I think that to Clayton's point, like you had mentioned, if McVay is looking for a partner, not a student, it would make sense to go the Aaron Rodgers route rather than getting a young quarterback or, drafting a quarterback or something like that. So I don't think they would clash in the long run. I think if he did go there and they settled in and had a plan, I think he could run that McVay offense, and I think they'd probably find some success out there. I just think that that Aaron's going to be on a golf course this time next year. So it's just a thought.
There you go. All right. I think that's it, Mike. Thank you for the super chat, bub. We'll go ahead and wrap up there as the second half is getting ready to get started. So you guys enjoy the rest of the game. It's a good little test run for the Senior Bowl we're going to be doing on Saturdays. So I know I've been taking some notes tonight and trying to get some ideas of how can we make it better when we do the live stream on Saturday. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know the guys are going to be in here if their schedules permit. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we wrap up here?
No. You got anything, Emilio?
I know. Besides that Rodgers question, I was meaning to remember that so I could ask you, because I thought it was a good point. Just because you never know how it's going to play out. Because you got Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. Is Pete Carroll going to want to pull in Russ Wilson? All that stuff. So there's just a lot to talk about. Yeah,
no, I agree, man. That's I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. It makes as soon as you said it, I went, okay. Well, first of all, Matt Stafford's got to be gone. Let's just put that to the side. Would Aaron Rodgers want to play for Sean McVay, a team that's a playoff team, right? They made the playoffs this year, correct? Playoff caliber team. He gets to go back home to Cali, right? Obviously, it's not like right down the road from
Mm-hmm.
Malibu, but obviously within the state be a lot easier than being all the way across the country. But then again, the Jets coaches are trying to sound like they want him to come back too. So interesting though. It hadn't even crossed my mind. I'm eager to see what Matt Stafford's going to do. You think there's a chance he can hang it up this year or no?
No, I think they were just saying, hey, like he's making only like 30 million and Trevor Lawrence is making like 60 and Jordan Love's making like 50, 60 and Tua's making 50, 60 and I'm still making, and I have a ring, I'm still getting you guys to the playoffs, all that sort of stuff. I would think that, I don't know if Stafford's chasing it at that point, but maybe he gets one more good deal, right? Rodgers got another one. So it could happen, but
that would be the craziest thing ever if Matt Stafford retired and Aaron didn't, and Aaron ended up being the quarterback over there.
Wild.
That would be wild.
I got Stafford's contract here. Let's take a gander at it. You want to? Let's do this and then we'll wrap up.
Just a look-see. Come on, because now you got
to look. This poor guy, he's not making any money.
Even the announcer on that GM shuffle, he was like, and that's why you're the GM. You get me thinking. He goes, I never even thought of that. And me neither, right? So that's why I just.
Who is the new GM?
He was the Tampa Bay GM in like 2012-ish. I'm trying to remember his name. Mark. I want to say it's Mark. Hold on, let me find it.
I'm interested to check it out because again, it's going to be hard for me to listen to it consistently without
Mark Dominic, former NFL GM. Where was he? He was Tampa Bay's GM. But I really like he gave a like an in-depth when he was standing in the locker room when Schottenheimer or I think it was Schottenheimer's dad or Sherman's dad like gave speeches. I mean, the dude's giving like insights of when he was in the building, which is I do really like.
Got it. Yeah, I'm eager to check it out because man, I'm gonna miss Michael Lombardi. I thought he was great, man. His rants were epic. I mean, they were absolutely epic. So here's Matthew Stafford's contract. Let's see if it's possible that they could move on from Matthew Stafford. So obviously there's only 2 years left on his deal, right? So he's under contract this year and next year. The cap hit is $49.6 million. The dead cap is $49.3 million. So I don't see it. And if you do a post June 1, right? Then you defer that over, you're freeing up roughly $30 million. That's probably what he was talking about. You said you heard $30 million, right, Emilio?
Right.
So, yeah, if you did post June 1, then you just push that cap penalty over to next year, essentially, and you could free up $30 million. That would make sense. That would be how you could do it. It's not ideal because you got to carry that cap hit until June 1. So it's really going to affect you with free agency.
Right.
But you can make it work in that regard. Unless you just wanted to eat the cap hit, right? And I don't even know what their cap situation is right now. To be honest with you, if we go Los Angeles Rams cap, let's see what we got here. Dead cap 9.9. What's their space? Look at the total cap space, 41.1. Right? But yeah, you can make it work. If you probably get Rodgers in there for $20 million, something like that.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, you can
be
make
crazy.
it work.
Because I mean, it would be like Stafford wanting out because he wants more money. He's just not getting that.
Right. All right. Cool. I'm glad we talked about it, man. That's interesting. We'll see how that all unfolds. There's going to be a lot of storylines unfold as we get closer to free agency and the cuts start rolling in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of lay out our schedule moving forward, gang, it's going to be the Senior Bowl Saturday. We're going to be doing a live stream for it. It's going to be a watch party, very laid back, much like tonight. I think this was awesome, man. As players make plays and see where they're at on the board, we'll take questions, comments from the chat. This was fun, man. This was a lot of fun. We would do this in season, but I'm charting the Packer game the entire time. This is what you'd see on a live stream during the Packer game the whole time. And every now and again, you'd hear me cuss, throw something, go back. That's all it would be the whole time. With that being said, though, once we get past the Senior Bowl, what's going to happen is we got the Combine coming up in February, right? And February 20th is kind of that restructure date where we're seeing some contracts are going to get restructured. You're going to get some players that are going to begin to get released, that type of thing. So once we get past the Combine, we're going to change gears, go into free agency mode, and we may dabble in some free agency along the way as well. But once we get into free agency mode, free agency hits bang, and as soon as free agency's over, we'll turn it right back to the draft. And next thing you know, we'll be in Green Bay doing our live show in the great city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, up there with Tim. I'm excited about it, man. It's going to be
Looking forward to it. It's almost here, man. It's almost here.
Mhm.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, super chats. Mike Witt, you crushed it tonight, buddy. We can just say Mike Witt, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Witt, Godsmack. Appreciate you, pal. Thank you so much. Mike Witt again, Mike Witt.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Witt is definitely out of cap space for sure.
Aaron Rodgers as well. Mike Witt again, Mike Witt.
Mike Witt had one more, Clay. How much cap space do Packers have?
Oh, hey, you're getting this freebie right here.
Yeah. Oh, he deserves it.
No doubt
He
about
deserves
it.
it. He gets a free one.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can get it pulled up on the screen for you real quick.
I want to say they were kind of near where the Rams were, maybe put like in 30 to 40 maybe ish. I'm not.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll try to explain it. And again, I'm no cap guru, nor do I try to pretend to be one on Twitter. But here's kind of the situation for the Packers. Okay, if I can zoom in here for you and get it a little bit, maybe not. All right, so you're going to see here. It's going to show. God, it keeps resetting on me. All right. Cap space, it's showing $43.9 million. Okay.
Mhm.
Now we went through and worked this up a little while back. Here's essentially, I got a little cheat sheet here that I put together. All right. So after your draft class, you're going to end up with about $34 million in cap space. You lock up anywhere from $5 to $7 million in operating money at a minimum. Like the Packers ran around with 14 extra million this year that rolled over into the cap this year. So let's say that puts you at about 29 million. Okay. So let's just call it 30 for easy math. Probably going to have about 30 million in cap space as you're going in. Now that's before you re-sign any players you want to re-sign, right? So there's going to be some minimal contracts. It's going to eat a little bit of that up as well. But here's the ticket though. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players that are primed for restructures. Okay. And what I mean by that is you can convert base salary and roster bonus to signing bonus, and then basically kick that down the road if you want, or spread it out over the duration of the contract. But the other thing you're doing there when you do a restructure is some people will call them pay cuts. Others will just call them, restructures. Essentially what you're doing is you're trading cash for cap. You're telling the player, I will write you a check fully guaranteed for a portion of your contract that was otherwise not guaranteed. And then it going into a signing bonus form, not only are you shaving money off the cap on the front side, but you're also able to spread that out over the duration of the player's contract. And they may use voidable years. I don't foresee them getting crazy with voidable years this year. But essentially what you come down with is Rashawn Gary somewhere between 7 or let's just say max 15 million you could free up. I think it'll be closer to 7 that they free up. Jair Alexander, 16 million is the max, probably closer to 8 million if he's even on the roster, right?
Right.
If you go post June 1, you can free up even more money with Jair too. So just keep that in mind. This is just cutting them out right this year. Restructuring this year. I'm going to miss that. Jordan Love, 11.9 million, probably going to be closer to 5 million you can free up. Elton Jenkins, 11.7, probably closer to 5 million you free up. Xavier McKinney, 11.5, closer to 5 million. Kenny Clark, 7.5, probably closer to 3 million. And then Josh Jacobs, 5.9, closer to 2 million. If you cut Kenny outright and you absorbed it this year, it's not worth it. But if you do a post-June 1 cut, you can really free up a significant amount of cap. For Kenny, you just got to carry that cap until June 1. That makes sense. So essentially what you got, I think the Packers can very, very easily and realistically free up another 32 million in cap space if they wanted to. So with the original number of 30, if the Packers wanted to get real aggressive, you could have about 60 million in cap space that you could play with after these restructures. Now, with that being said, I don't think they're going to go crazy because free agency isn't like, wow, there isn't Xavier McKinney out there, right? There isn't Josh Jacobs sitting out there, in my opinion. So I think the Packers may try to make some bargain deals. They may go after Dialman, the center. I would like to see that. I would love to see them go after Chris Godwin. I just wouldn't put my money on it, right? He's going to be completely healthy, as Emilio pointed out earlier on the show a few weeks ago. He's pretty much going to be ready for the playoffs if they made it even further, right? He was getting ready to get healthy, Chris Godwin was. I'm not big on T. Higgins, although the Packers may be. I think Tim loves T. Higgins. Is that right, Tim?
No, that's Jaden Higgins.
Oh,
Tim hates. I shouldn't say he hates the person. He hates the player T. Higgins. He does not want T. Higgins, and I'm on board with that too. So that's kind of how I see that. It'll probably be closer to half of that. They'll probably end up freeing up $20 million with restructures and end up with $50 million. And the reason you'll still do restructures, even though you may not spend the money, people are going, why would you do that if you're not going to spend the money? Because you're saving, you're trading cash for cap. You're freeing up cap, and that cap you don't spend rolls over the next year, and you're in an even better position. So, again, you're going to the player and going, listen, you had a $10 million salary this year. We were thinking about cutting you. What if we cut it down to $8 million and we give you $6 million fully guaranteed? And they're going to go, okay. So now the difference is $4 million. I may not even get that on my next contract if I sign somewhere else, and I got to pack my family up, move them across the country, right? So that's where the cash over cap game kind of comes into play. So that makes sense, Phil?
yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mike. Hopefully that answered your question there, bub. But that's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. We will be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. for PTA Live. No morning show tomorrow. Got a couple doctor's appointments we got to attend. So everything's good there. We just got to take care of that. And we'll be back tomorrow night to talk Packers. We'll talk about all the updates from the East-West Shrine Bowl, any other information that came down the pike. Emilio, we're going to put some stuff on the board here pretty soon. I think we should do a bonus for the players that stood out for the East-West Shrine Bowl practice week as well as the Senior Bowl. I think that would be really important. So
Definitely.
We good, guys?
All good. This is
All right.
awesome.
Yeah, this was fun, man. Saturday's going to be great, man. We're going to get some pizza and some wings and sit back and watch the Senior Bowl. It's going to be a blast. So.
Nice.
All right. Everybody have a good night. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you would hit that like button on the way out. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Packers.
And we go.
Bye, guys.